Ever since I seek God and listened to Him and followed Him to Dallas, He has provided me with everything that I wanted and I needed. If I needed shelter, He provided that. If I needed money, He provided that. If I needed protection, He provided that. If I needed peace, oh my gosh, I've had so much peace since I left Houston and came to Dallas. If I needed food, I have not went one day hungry. If I needed a job, a place to work so I can have regular money coming in, he provided me with the entire game plan to be able to work for him. And lastly, I can't tell you guys how long I've been seeking God to put good people in my life. And since I've been out here, I've ran into so many good people, been around so many good people. There's good people in the game plan that He has for my business. There's good people at the shelter, you guys. I've been in all these places where I'm at these jobs that are luxury jobs, and I'm at around these bougie people and all this other stuff, and they just have such bad evil spirits on them. But in the shelter, you even see people with evil spirits on them that are better people than the people in normal places in the world. There was a point in time while I've been out here when the money that I had saved to come out here started running low. So I started to steal. When I was younger, I had a problem with stealing. I just had it in my mind that these corporations like Walmart and Target, the people that at the top, the people that own the places are evil anyway. So why not? Why shouldn't I have it? I'm a good person. I should be able to have it. So I used to take. So in my mid 20s, God started giving me conviction from doing that, letting me know that it was a commandment not to be stealing. So since I started feeling that guilt, I got to the point where I just prayed to God and I was like, all right, God, if I steal again, let me get caught. Let me get caught for doing something that you don't want me to do. So I hadn't stolen again since then. But while I was out here, I'm struggling. I need money. I got no, well, I got money, but it's running out, so I'm getting scared. So I start to steal again, allegedly. Every day that I'm walking around, I got this purse on, and this purse is hurting my chest, hurting my shoulder because it's too tight. But I have to walk around with it because it has all my important documents in it. And you can't just leave that at the shelter because people be doing weird stuff, stealing, going through your stuff and stuff like that. So I'm like, God, I need another bag, and I ain't got no money. So I go to Walmart allegedly, and I see the perfect bag for me, allegedly. And I end up leaving, having the bag with me, allegedly, and getting on the bus. And when I'm on the bus, God's giving me conviction. I'm feeling guilty. I'm like, all right, God, well, the purse was hurting really bad. I need money. I don't got no money. You're not providing me with no money. Like, what else am I supposed to do? Like, I ain't got nothing I can do about that. So I get back to the shelter. When I get back to the shelter, I'm contacting the job that I had worked for 2 days, and I'm like asking them like, "Oh, hey y'all, when are you guys gonna do the paper check thing so I can come pick it up? Because I need that money or whatever." And so I'm talking to them I'm like, "We don't do paper checks. We deposit that money on your account today. Did you look at your account?" Y'all, I go look at my account and the money's sitting right there. So during the time that God was providing me with a game plan of what He wanted me to do to work for Him, He starts telling me one of the things that you can do is start drawing people. People enjoy you drawing them, and that's something that you can make easy money from. I'm like, all right, okay. So at the same time that I start doing what He's telling me to do, my contacts start tripping. And of course, they start tripping because these contacts is over a year old and they're color contacts. So I'm like, God, you tell me to go do something, then the next day you got my contacts tripping. I don't understand. I'm like, I need some contacts. So around the same time that I asked for these contacts, there's a lady that comes up to me randomly while I'm in the cafe. And she's like, do you have insurance? I'm like, no, I don't have insurance. And she was like, well, my company provides free insurance to people in the homeless shelter. She was like, you really don't have no copay. You don't have to pay much with this insurance. It's really good insurance. And you just have it for a year just for being here. So she signs me up for the insurance. And I'm like, okay. And at the time I was sitting there with one of my friends. I'm letting her know, like, it's crazy. I was just asking God for contacts. And then He has this lady come up to me telling me about insurance that she can get me for free. The insurance wasn't coming until the next month, so I wasn't going to be able to use it to the next month, but yet my contacts were still tripping, so I wasn't able to do what God was telling me to do. So I'm like, oh, okay, God, well, I guess I'll just wait, but how am I going to start on what you're telling me to do? I guess you don't want me to start yet. And I still try to start. I took a leap of faith and I'm like, all right, I'm just going to set an appointment And after I set the appointment, I'm going to go to the park and just try to draw people. Set the appointment. The day of the appointment comes, I don't have no money to do it. I'm just like, oh my gosh, God, like what the heck? And around the same time, one of my subscribers messages me and asks me for my email, asks me for my Cash App, and asks me if he can help me in any kind of way. And I'm just like, okay, well, a lot of these guys around here have been trying to help me for something in return. I'm not really looking for things like that. But also in his message, he was like, I'm not looking for anything in return. I just want to help you because you're a sister in Christ. And I'm just like, I don't know. That sounds too good to be true. So there was one time I was on the bus and God just got in my ear and he was just like, you need some contacts. Allow that man to help you. And it's crazy because also since I've been out here, God's been teaching me too, you need to accept rejection because that's just my protection. But also, you need to accept when I allow people to help you, no matter what that person looks like, because that's through me, and I won't make it a weird situation after that if it's through me. So I'm like, all right. So I'll go ahead and accept the help. And randomly, he just sends me money, and I use the money to go get me some contacts, you guys. So during the time that God's been showing me my game plan, He's been giving me so many things that I'm going to be doing. So I'm like running right out trying to do it because I'm trying to get this started. I'm trying to get to my milk and honey. But He's also showing me, calm down. I'm just giving you what you're going to be doing. I'm going to also bring the options to you. So there was one day I was working out. He's like, all right, you're going to be drawing people. I'm like, all right. Let's get this started. He was just like, okay, let's start building and networking. How you going to be talking to people and get comfortable talking to people. And so he was telling me to go up to people at the park and ask them if they would like you to draw them. I'm like, all right, God, if you really want me to do this, if this is what you really want, just give me some positive people and show me that somebody would say yes. So I go up to three people. All three of those people were very positive, very open to it, very inviting, and I even got one of them as a customer. One guy I ended up drawing, super sweet guy, and it just seems like there's going to be a relationship built there too, like a friendship built there. He was such a good guy, which is crazy to me. I'm just like, all right, cool. And I just take that. I'm like, all right, that's something I'm going to be doing. And I try to force it after that. And God's like, no, we're not going to force it. So he starts blocking little things that I'm trying to do on my own. It's crazy because when I was on my way to the shelter and I was all down and out, going through it, crying and stuff like that, I'm on the bus and I'm passing up this park, actually the park that I'm at right now. And I see the park, and the park just basically like kind of calls to me. And I'm just like, oh, that's a very nice park. Lots of trees, lots of shade, very nice park. So I see the sign for the title of the park, and I'm like, I GPS it and I note it. I'm like, all right, cool. I'll check that out when I'm not down and out and not feeling sad anymore. So the park turns out to be right by the shelter that I go to. So I end up going to it when I'm feeling better. And when I go to it, there's one day I'm passing up a sign from the park, and on the sign they're talking about they're having a concert, and I'm like, I get an idea. I'm like, oh, a concert. I can go draw people at that concert. Turns out the concert was like way earlier that month, so I had already missed it. I'm like, all right, cool. Well, they do stuff like that here. That's options. That's something I could do. So the next day I come to the park, and I'm just like, okay, I see that it's an actual park that has an inside where you can go inside, use the restroom. They have events and they help elderly and they help the younger people. I'm like, all right, cool. They must do a lot of events here. So let me go try to get an events list. So I go in there, get their calendar of the events that they're going to be having there. And so I'm thinking, I'm like, all right, how I'm about to work this? How I'm about to work this? Thinking that I'm going to work it by myself. But instead, God's like, no, I'm going to work it for you. So there's another day that I come in, and I forgot really why I went in there. But when I went in there, I seen a guy that was from the shelter. And when I seen him, I kind of just like look at him. I don't really like to try to build a relationship with a lot of the men at the shelter because a lot of times they be wanting something in return. They're just talking to me just to try to get with me. So I kind of just keep my distance from them. But he seemed like he was just inviting. So when I seen him, I kind of just like looked at him, smiled, and then I was walking out of the little park area. So I walk out, go mind my business for the rest of the day. So that same guy that I seen at the gym, he actually works in the kitchen. So when I get back to the shelter, I see him back in the kitchen, and he's just like, he calls me over. He's like, hey, hey, hey. And when I go over there, He's like, hey, did I see you at the gym? And I was like, yeah, I saw you there. And I was like, I didn't know if that was really you. That's kind of why I was just like, look. And I left. He's like, yeah, that was me. He's like, I go there all the time to work out. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. I was like, well, then you'll start to see me there because I'm kind of like a gym rat. And he's like, yeah, yeah. And I was like, I went up there to see about starting an art class up there. And he was like, oh, for real? He was like, that's a really good idea. He was like, a lot of people do that up there. And he was like, I actually know the person that organizes the events up there. I could talk to her if you want me to. And I was like, yes, can you please talk to her for me? So I'm not gonna lie, I started kind of not obsessing, but being very forceful with it after that, like making all these plans of how it was going to happen and what was going to happen. And I could tell that God made the situation lengthy. Like him going to talk to the lady took a few days and things like that just to calm me down. And I noticed that he does that with situations with me just to get me to calm down and come back to reality and just see it as just an opportunity, not something that I'm going to force or do too much with. So after those few days, there was one day that I was just coming to into the gym like normal, and it's just like we all kind of met in the gym at the entrance by accident. So when we do that, he introduced me to her and kind of pushes me off on her. She's like, "Well, I'm about to start a chair yoga class. You want to join?" I'm like, "Yeah, I do." So I joined the class, and when I joined the class, I'm able to see her personality, which I love, and the people in her class's personality. There was only like three other people in there, but it was like so cute. There was actually this lady there named Madeline. Oh my gosh, she's an older lady with all this personality, and just full of herself, and she's so serious about it, but it's like funny and cute at the same time. Just really really good vibes the entire time. So I was just sitting there thinking, I'm just like, I'm gonna be able to vibe with these people, so I'm just gonna build a real relationship and we'll just see what happens and how it blossoms from there. I'm not gonna force anything. We're just gonna see what happens. And so after the class, she lets me know the website to go to, and on the website, I'm able to see that they actually have all types of artists. There's multiple locations of the park, and they just have a list of artists, whether it's for acting, for music, or for visual arts. They have these artists listed on this website, and people that are doing events can call them. And when they call them, they could choose the artist that they want for their event, and it's all through the park. Crazy, crazy work. Ain't never heard of nothing like that before. I'm like, all right, cool. So when I left there and I went to the website to apply, and I realized that the the platform to apply expired in May, so I wasn't able to apply. And I just kind of took it like, this is just God's rejection for whatever reason. It is what it is. I might even email the people and ask them when it opens up again. But as of right now, that's cool. So as time continues on, I'm kind of just chilling out, and me and God are basically just running together. Anytime I try to force anything, he kind of cuts it off or prolongs it to where I have to wait anyways. I'm gonna just sit here and practice, and whenever you say go, I'll be ready because I'm sitting here practicing. There's one day I'm sitting on the bus and I'm kind of thinking, I'm like, all right, I wish I could draw like big canvases, people, so I could charge more. And I just want to do that, but I was like, there's nowhere that I'll be able to keep them, so I guess that's just that for right now until I get a place that I can do that at. As I'm still sitting there, there's this guy that gets on a bus. And so he gets on a bus and he has canvases in his hand that are wrapped up. And then he sits right behind me. And then something's like, ask him what he's doing, where he's going with those canvases. And I'm like, no, I'm not trying to mess with nobody. I'm a business. So it's like, ask him what he's doing with those canvases and where he's going. So I look back and I'm like, is that artwork? He's like, yeah. And I was like, can I see it? So he takes it out and just starts showing me it. He's like a happy artist, proud artist. So he really wanted to show off his work. So I'm looking at it. It's pretty good, especially the ones that he showed me on his phone. Really, really good artwork. So I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm like, where are you taking it? He's like, I'm taking it to the studio. And I was like, oh, for real? He's like, yeah, I got a studio. It's actually free to have it at the studio. I could keep it there, no problem. I'm like, okay, where are you taking it? He's like, I'm taking it to my studio. I'm like, oh, for real? You got a studio? He's like, yeah, I do art galleries for the studio. He's like, they don't even charge me to keep it there, and they don't charge me for the art gallery. He's like, I sold out my last gallery. I was like, oh, for real? I'm like, yeah, this is something for God. I need to get in that studio. I'm like, oh, where's the studio? What's the name? And he was like, we're about to pass it up. I'm like, okay. Then he goes back and to talk about his work, giving me his card, advertising on his Instagram. I'm like, okay, what's the name of the place so I can note it? What's the address? And he was like, we're about to pass it up. And I'm like, you're not gonna tell me the name. He's like, we're about to pass it up. And I'm like, okay. So we keep driving. I'm like, I'm feeling like I'm gonna get off the bus before. I'm like, I'm gonna get off the bus before you. I need the address. He's like, we're about to pass it up. It's right after the bridge. Just go over there and talk to Betty. And I'm like, okay, but like, what's the address? He's like, just go over there and talk to Betty. Go in and talk to Betty. I'm like, okay. And then so as we keep driving, my bus stop comes, and then I figure out that he's getting off at the same bus stop. I'm like, all right, cool. Wherever he's going, I'm about to go with him. And so we get there, and he walks me to where the art gallery is. The art gallery is in the shelter that's right next to my shelter. And I'm just like, look at God. So when we get there, the it's locked, so we have to wait for somebody to open the door. So actually, Betty comes to open the door for us, and when she comes, he kind of introduces us, and then just walks off. So I'm sitting there talking to Betty, and as I'm talking to her, she's explaining everything to me, how they work, and how it's basically our gallery of God that helps homeless people as well. How they provide paint, how they provide a place to keep your canvases and all that you need to be able to be an artist with them. How they'll sign you to it, and they take 10% of your sales and you take 90% of it, and they basically sign you up and give you everything you need to become an artist for them. And I'm just like, this ain't nobody but God. I was not placed in that shelter for nobody but God, by nobody but God. This is all happening for a reason. And as she's sitting there talking to me, I'm like excited about it. She's asking me questions about myself, and I'm like explaining to her. She's like, yeah, I usually have to request art for people, but she was like, I know you're good. I can feel it. And I was like, oh, for real? And I was like, thank you. She's like, I can feel it on you. She's like, you have confidence, the way you look. She was like, you just bring a certain energy. So this lady just signs me up to be an artist with them. I sign all the paperwork and things like that and get up, like ready to start. So then she shows me the art gallery. And when she shows me the art gallery, I asked her, I'm like, okay, so how do y'all organize the art shows? And she was like, well, we organize them through churches and, get people from churches to come out and look at the work. And you guys, before I left Houston, God put it on my heart. He was like, you're going to be selling your artwork to churches, people in churches and people like that, so you can be a Christian artist, what you're wanting to be. And I'm like, oh my gosh, okay. So when she's saying this, that people from churches are going to be the ones that are looking at my work, I'm just like amazed. Like, oh my God, I'm ready to go. Like, I'll be back tomorrow with my canvas ready to go. So I walk my little 3 minutes back to my shelter. And when I get back to my shelter, I'm kind of sitting there in amazement, like, I don't really have nothing to say. And then I get a call. I get a call from the lady, the organizer lady at the park. I'm like, okay. So I answer the phone, and she's like, "Did you get the picture that you sent me?" And it's a picture of a birthday party that's going on at the park. I'm like, "Yeah, I'm there. I'm gonna be there." And she was like, "All right, cool." She was like, "Do you know how to draw people? Like, can you sit and draw people that are in front of you?" And I was like, "Yeah." And she was like, all right, well, at this party, I want you to have your own corner where you sit and draw people. And I'm like, okay, no problem. She's like, all right, so you'll set up like 2 days before that. And then on the day of it, you just come in and do your work. And I was like, all right. And I was like, well, as for the website you told me to go to, I was like, it's already expired. She was like, that's fine. Do you want to also just come into the park and organize event classes for elderly as a volunteer? And I was like, yes. I was like, that I have no problem with that. That'll help me get my feet wet and just be able to do some type of work. She's like, all right, cool. So it's like I'm basically building that relationship with her while I'm about to already do this event. I feel like since she likes me, she's gonna hand me some work to do, which is a blessing in itself. Like, I mean, the event for the birthday is a blessing in itself. And I'm just like, dang God, two big blessings in one day of what you told me I was going to be doing. That's crazy work. Crazy work. So basically, we just run it together. All right, you guys, that's all I have to say in this video. I gotta end it here. I feel like one of these people out here gonna come and jump in this video and do the video with me if I keep going any longer. But yeah, you guys, thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.